Hello and welcome back to the Canadian Bro Show. Thank you again for joining us. Trent was just singing here, and the backdrop is our one of our 3 Canadian Bro Show songs that my old teammate Chris Wright made for us. I always give him a shout out. In the meantime, welcome back to the Canadian Bro Show. This is, oh my goodness, episode 48, week 18. And the second season of all basketball from the Hoopjunkies, Pauly and Rowley. And the handsome gentleman, my name is Paul Bale, I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show. And the handsome gentleman to my left and your right in the toque with the Santa Claus beard and probably a bourbon is none other than the co-host of the most, Mr. Trent Rowley. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. A little shameless representing of Lakeline Brewing Company, a local brewing company here in my little community. So,
well, that's not shameless. Aren't they actually almost going to be supporting you or sponsoring you at some point in the near future?
Well, now that Ben has moved away, so I don't have that going on anymore. But I've got some clamoring from people that still want some content from me, I guess. So,
oh yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what my next step is on that podcast, on my community stuff. So, but there will be something, because again, we did a live one to end it, and hindsight being 2020, we should have been doing that probably once every couple months. We had this great crowd that was watching us. We got to have little questions a little bit while we did it, and it was it was phenomenal. It was super fun. So I'm going to have something like that going on. I just don't know what it is. My wife would rather me not probably do it, but
Yeah, of course. But I mean, she understands that you're not only a hoop junkie, you're a sports fanatic, and you're also, you're also in town. You're kind of a celebrity, and you like most people into town. And
I'm not a celebrity, but I'm definitely. I think people.
You're well known.
I'll put it this way: there's more people know me than I know them. Unfortunately, that's the way it is.
Okay.
I have a small circle.
Right.
But I think the people who know me that I don't know that I give a rat's, of what goes on in our community, sports in our community, just in general, what goes on. And not having radio anymore in these small communities in Alberta, we have Stingray, who just takes over everybody.
Yeah.
So it's just, we don't have any local news. We don't have any local stuff bringing what events are going on there's no local radio and there's no local newspaper anymore. Right. It's online. So it's a struggle when you live in a smaller community.
When did they start that? Has it been like that for a long time, or?
It's been like that for a while. And I think that's why Ben and I started to see an uptick and started to see like the show grow.
Right.
Because we were talking about stuff that was happening in our community, whether with taxes and water and other things, and all the events that were happening, and giving people shout outs in our community. They're doing all that great stuff. Because as you know, most people that do all that great stuff don't want people to know they do it. They just want to just do their thing. They don't need to be in a picture with a check and a handshake. They're just doing their thing.
I thought most people want that.
Well, I mean, if you're an egomaniac like yourself, then you probably want to do that every time with a check. And
like myself, I'm not an egomaniac, bro.
So there's something coming there. I'm not sure what, but there's definitely some clamoring for something to continue there. So we'll see what happens. So.
Yeah, I think you should be. I think you should be nice of the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show and not disparage him in public on a live show. I know you think it's funny, but you have a bit of an evil part of you that comes out every once in a while. It's unfortunate, but as he was talking about himself and how important he is in the community, he had to disparage me. Disparage me for just a couple of seconds. But hey, I've known him for almost 40 years. He's been like that since day one. It was actually worse. But the Canadian Bro Show, episode 48, week 18, season 2. We like to focus on NBA fantasy basketball, WNBA. We always give it, and boy, we got some just ridiculous dirt. What is going on with the WNBA? And we've got NBA insights. We're going to be talking about injuries because that's all NBA is these days. Soft players, injuries, and then soft teams trying to tank to get the 8th pick in a player they don't even know who they're going to get, and they'll ruin.
What are they calling it? Remember what they called this little phenomenon of people about quiet quiet quitting or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what's happening with tanking. It's not even obvious. They're trying to be quiet. They're trying to still, hey, look at us. We're still competing and playing hard, but really they're tanking. Like it's
it's funny. I was doing some errands in the car, and I listened to Sirius, and I listened to the NBA channel 86. And they got Rick Camel on there, and they got Eddie Johnson and a whole bunch of NBA guys. Anyways, it's really funny. And Eddie Johnson's on there, and they said, "Oh, we've got some new news on the Utah Jazz," and it looks like they've shut down J.J. Jackson for a knee injury that he was supposed to have surgery in the summertime. But let's shut him down. Hey, do you want to get that injury taken care of now? Yeah. Sure, we don't mind. Boom, he's gone. And then of course the finisher doesn't play the last quarter of the season, the last 2 years, so he's not going to play. And then of course, as it turns out, Nurkic had nose surgery when it wasn't needed, and he's out for the season. Excuse me. It is a complete, absolute, embarrassing joke. And then the NBA fines him $500,000. Come on, man, $5 million.
As a billionaire, yeah. Like,
I know.
That $500,000 to him is like $5 to you and me. Like it's nothing. Right?
It's like the interest he makes on his billions.
The one thing about that situation, it's something that we should probably talk about down the road somewhere. Is about there's always players. People find out like when players move. Sometimes the situation you're in is not the greatest. They move and all of a sudden they're a different player, or you say, "Hey, here's the guy." Don't just blame it on the player. Blame it on the situation as well.
Yeah.
Well, marketing. That is one guy I would love to see be somewhere else that has a management administration type thing that is trying to win, is in the playoffs every year. Yeah. I'd like to see what kind of player he is in that type of situation instead of the one he's been in. Basically, like you said, he just doesn't play the last 25 games every year.
Not since he was in Utah, but before he got to Utah, he was injured all the time.
Yeah.
Except when he went to the World Championships and he was destroying everybody in the world. Yeah. So it's just very frustrating for fantasy basketball players, for those that are in fantasy basketball, or those that just you've got a season ticket and you want to see the top 8 players in rotation in Utah. There isn't any starters in Utah right now. Everybody's second string. So when I get into Waiver Wire Connected, I'll explain how to deal with tanking.
Let's talk about the shit show the WNBA is.
Well, please. And I was just going to say that the WNBA is an absolute, as just Trent said, it's an absolute shit show. It's gotten worse. And Trent, go ahead. And I did some research on it. So you go into what you've seen, and I'll just add something later.
I know that the league has set a deadline of March 10th for negotiations. And I got a Raptors on today, too.
I know, we both do. Isn't that cool?
March 10th is the deadline for the CBA to be agreed to without the schedule being interrupted at all. Mm-hmm. So that's another week and a half. It's not happening, people. It's not going to. I'm telling you right now. And
so you think they're going to strike?
Yeah, and secondly, this is the wonderful thing about it. This is what I pray. We talk about my girl Caitlin all the time, and people can say, it's not just about her. It isn't just about her.
It's almost all about her.
In 2005, the WNBA generated enough revenue for sharing with its players. There was about $8 million to share with the players from 2025. Mm-hmm. I wonder why there's so many more eyeballs on the game and you actually made money. I wonder what it was. Let me think. My girl Caitlin.
KC.
It was. It's not rocket science. And now, like we've said before, people can get upset and say we always just say it's because of her. It is because of her. But that doesn't mean that all these other players, the Asia Wilsons and the Sabrina Ionescu's, the Colliers, the Kelsey Mitchell, who I love. You love her. She's just a gunner.
Yeah, I love her. I love her. I love Paige.
It's just all these players that are in the league that are just really good players, like great players. And really, I mean, I've watched them over some of the guys I'm going to watch. Well, now the eyeballs are on them. That's not their fault, but don't get it twisted. You have more eyeballs in the league because of that one girl. And now you have Paige in there. You're going to have, Juju Watkins in a couple years. You're going to have Adelko and Miles next year and Betts. And there's all this young talent that's coming. And
you got two new teams in expansion.
And they're messing it up.
Yeah.
You're messing it up. This is your golden age right here. It's happening. I don't recall the NBA being upset, because you know this just as well as anybody else. The Lakers-Celtics final in 1980, or sorry, Lakers-Sixers final in 1981. Michael Jordan came in the league in 84. In 1981, the Sixer-Laker final was on time delay on cable. It wasn't even live.
Wow.
Right?
That's true.
So,
I forgot about that, man.
Right? So it wasn't even live yet. It hadn't gotten big enough. Magic and Larry, they kind of brought that thing, and then all of a sudden you had this dude that it didn't matter that you were whoever you cheered for.
Yeah.
You wanted, if Michael Jordan was on TV, you're watching. You wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
So it is just, it's craziness what's happening there. There's money to be shared, and these guys, the way they talk is like, oh well, it's great that we're doing this, and this just shows that the league is growing. The league didn't grow until, again, this just happened. I'm sorry, the people who are on the one treasurer, Brianna Turner, said, "Oh, this just shows how the league and the women are valued." They weren't being valued. They're being valued now because more eyeballs are there, which is great.
Well, but since Caitlin Clark got drafted, the WNBA for 27 consecutive years lost money, and in this new CBA, correct me if I'm wrong, they're asking for a net 27% of net profits revenue from the league, and which is the exact same that the NBA is getting. So they've already, after losing money for 27 years, now they want the same as the NBA. It's delusional. And the counter offer apparently was 22%. They should just take that and move on. Because if they don't, they're going to have the season won't start. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And 22% net.
Yeah.
And that's divvied. And by the way, correct me if I'm wrong here. That is 22% is good, better than last year. And then the counter proposal was less. So the more they counter, the less it's going to be. Well, there's one player in the WNBA that is responsible for 72% of revenue, net revenue in the WNBA. And who might that player be, Trent?
I don't know. You tell me.
Caitlin Clark. So what's going on is really delusional. There's a lot of players in the WNBA that they have a very high opinion of themselves. And two of them recently went on to this league that's playing 5-on-5, and they did an introduction podcast thing. And it was like 30,000 people. And they're counting that as a plus. That's nothing. That watch them and listen to them. And that was the crazy girl and the long eyelashes. What's her name? The one that just hates Caitlin. Huh? Oh my God. I'm not a big fan, eh? Not a big fan at all. And I just see what's going on. So tell me what's going on. Like, was I right on all those numbers? I think I was pretty damn close.
Yeah, pretty close. Yep. Yeah, close enough. Yep.
So what happens now, Trent? What do you think?
Well, I mean,
they're going to strike.
I don't know. I just don't get it, man.
But why don't they take the 22%?
I don't know. It's not
because they're freaking greedy. That's why.
They want 20. They want 30, right? They want 29.
Well, no, they want 27. The same as what the NBA gets.
Yeah.
The players in the NBA get. That's impossible.
Sorry, guys. You're a league that doesn't.
But the NBA makes billions of dollars. They don't even break a profit, and they're thinking that they're just completely out of touch with reality. And the only reason why the arenas are being full, except for Caitlin, who missed 90% of the season last year, you saw what happened with her missing. The numbers are dropping all over the league, right? Those arenas weren't full.
Well, they weren't full, but one thing that did happen, which is great, is attendance was, there were still people coming to games. They had some really good numbers during the playoffs and the finals.
Yeah.
And that's what people are talking about, right? That Caitlin wasn't even playing and they had good numbers. Yeah, but those people were brought here by her. They're still hanging on because they were watching the Indiana Fever without her, to see how they would do, kind of thing. So. And
the other thing I picked up on this YouTube channel, I was watching pretty good information actually, was that they're saying that the fan base absolutely loves the WNBA, and they absolutely love Caitlin. They love the new talent that's coming to the league, but they are frustrated with all of the bullshit that is going on with the owners and the league and the politics of the league. And it's really not helping. The players aren't helping themselves, and the league's not helping them. But the fans are frustrated because they're going to the owners and they're saying, look, these girls deserve an increase for sure, but let's be realistic. Everybody at the end of the day, it's got to be fair, right? Fair is fair.
Yeah.
And it's not from either way. From the owners, from the CBA, from the agents to the players. But the fans, they just want them to play. They want to see their players.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on, bro. It's very, very strange. Is it just a simple human condition of greed that is just wiping out another thing?
Well, again, we get into the society now where people want to go, I know my own self-worth or my own truth. When I hear people say my truth, it's the truth or not. I don't want to hear about your truth. Give me a break with that. So this my worth stuff, when they were those pay us what we're worth. Well, you haven't made money ever. You should be grateful you have a job still.
Yeah.
The league you're in has lost money.
27 years.
You have a job still. If I worked at a regular job and we were losing money, I'm getting fired. I don't have a job.
And you're not getting a bonus. You're not getting TV earnings.
It's
I don't know, man. It's really frustrating.
It is. They've overcompensated for the idea of what they see is happening. Instead of growing with what's happening, they want it all right now because the people that have been in the league, they haven't seen it. And they're going, I want my share before my 2 years
It's
is
me,
up.
myself, and I. It's not team. It's not.
Exactly.
It's
not
this.
about the league. This
it's
idea
greed.
Of representing the league is just not true.
It's really pathetic. But this is
the veterans that didn't get this type of viewership and had this kind of money coming in. That's what they're representing, and they're trying to get those people paid. They don't give a rat's ass about the people that are growing it. They care about the people who've been here saying, well, we're the ones who grew it. No, you didn't. Yeah. It wasn't growing.
No.
It wasn't making money.
If you're losing money for 27 years, there's no growth. Yeah. The only growth happened when Kate destroyed Pistol Pete Maravich's record. It took her 5 years, and it took Pete 3 years. But nonetheless, what she's done to not just female basketball, but to basketball globally, no other player in the WNBA, and there are other great players in the WNBA, have done. So it's just crazy, man. This is the new episode we're doing right below. I saw Elvis Presley live in 1977. I did actually see him live in the Portland Rose Garden, and 6 months before he died. And that is a new episode that's coming out tomorrow on All Things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny. Hey, Trent, did you want to finish up with anything else on the NBA?
No, I'm...
WNBA, I know.
All the WNBA does is frustrate me. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad you got me hooked, and I'm glad but it's just to see Caitlin, all the crap in her first rookie year, and then her injured in her second year, and now this going on. It's like the fans don't deserve that, and I'm a fan, and I think it's wrong, and it needs to be changed. But we're going to move on. We're going to talk about Yahoo NBA Fantasy. Trent and I play 9 categories. We've been talking about this for our second season now. And Trent has ascended into the second highest tier of fantasy basketball in one of our leagues. He's currently in first place, and I'm currently in second place. But Trent's got me 7 games, and he just got his asterisks for a playoff position, which is a weekly bye. And that's what you want. In the next 2 weeks, at the end of this week, I'm hoping to get one as well. And if you're in the top 4 or top 3, you all get weekly buys. Sometimes the fourth team does, depending on the numbers. But I want to talk about the schedule, because the schedule's been all over the place the last 5 to 6 weeks, and it's been extremely challenging to partake in fantasy basketball with Yahoo on the fantasies for a number of reasons, and we'll dig into that. The schedule is something that I always talk about because I think it's really important, and it's just as important. Week 18 is the first full week. Listen to this. The first full week of NBA action after the All-Star break. Well, the All-Star break was weeks ago, and here we are finally getting back to normality. And if you call a Monday with 3 games, normal, and a Tuesday with 11 games, normal, and then a Wednesday with 6 games, and then some change on Thursday, some change on Friday, some change on Saturday, finishing up with 10 games on Sunday. That's not normal. First of all, usually Tuesday, Thursdays are the slowest days of now they're the busiest. It's bonkers. But, at the end of the day, this begins the mad dash how Trent and I were talking about. I'm out of my 8 teams, I got an asterisk, so my 2 first place teams and 4 of my second place teams are all right there, basically. So the end of this week, I should be in the playoffs with the bi-weekly. So you get the first week of the playoffs, which will be in about 2.5 weeks. You don't have to play anyone in that first week, which allows your players to heal up. It allows you to pick apart the scraps of the waiver wire from the teams that don't make the playoffs, and they start dumping players, because a lot of teams do that. They go, hey, here's Zion Williamson. Well, Trent's not going to pick him up because he drafted him. Smart draft he got him in the 6th round. Just incredible. He's been playing really well. It's about time. So the schedule means everything. After our light Monday, as I mentioned, the schedule was just 3 games. There will be at least 5 games on each and every other day, led by a double-figure days on Tuesday, as I mentioned, 11, which just happened last night. It was diabolical. And I would say the vast majority of teams that were playing, 3 or 4 of those teams were tanking. 3 of them were terrible. And all the starters are injured. And it was terrible basketball. I watched every game last night until I couldn't. And then I would just go to another one because they usually start in half 30-minute increments, right? On my NBA subscription. And so there are some teams focused on the draft lottery. Well, there's quite a few teams focused on the draft fraud. I would say there's right now probably at least 5, maybe 6 teams that are obviously tanking. With 3 of those, it's ridiculous. And the Utah being one of them. I won't even go there. I'm so upset. Yeah. There are teams focused on the draft. And yeah, I understand they're focused on the draft lottery. Okay, there's going to be some good players this year. Is it a stacked lottery? I don't think so, but we're not there yet. We're going to be doing an episode on that later. And then there's many others that are still in the mix. I mean, there could be in the West, there could be anywhere from 6 to 8 teams, depending how they finish the remainder of these, 25 games remaining of the season before we get into the playoffs. Fantasy basketball, the playoffs comes in 2 weeks. So, the play-in turn, at the very least, those that aren't going to make the playoffs, at least will try to play in for the play-in, and they get 2 opportunities during the play-in to be able to go to the next round. And it's the hardest way to do it. Nobody wants to go that way because you're going to play against a great team each round. Yeah. And then you find yourself in 6th place, and who do you play in the first? You play, in the East, you're playing probably Detroit. In the West, you're probably playing OKC, or we'll go into that later. And the Week 18 games played, you've got 4 games. You want to focus and stack your team. There's no restrictions, so you don't have to hold your 4 waiver wire pickups. Waiver Wired Connected is coming up next segment. And you can hopefully get your teams healthy to battle for that playoff speed. So Week 18, 4 games. Brooklyn, Boston, Cleveland, Dallas, Detroit, Houston, the Lakers, Memphis, Milwaukee, New Orleans, OKC, Portland, Sacktown, and San Antonio Spurs. 3 games. Atlanta, Charlotte, Chicago. What has happened to Chicago? Personally, I think they should fire their coach. And he's a great coach, but they need someone that players are going to listen to. Denver, Golden State Warriors, Indiana, Miami, Minnesota, New York, Philadelphia, Toronto, Utah, and Washington. Utah doesn't need to worry about any schedule. They're just going to tank. 2 teams I would stay away from during this next week and a half, actually, because both of these teams don't even have really good... the Clippers have 2 games, and Phoenix has 2 games. And Booker is out with his hip again. On a couple of my teams.
On either of those teams.
Yeah, you're lucky. And, keep an eye on those. Trent and I follow the schedule like religion. Because
I look at it on Monday morning. I look at it Monday morning, and I do my teams that first thing Monday morning at 7. And I do a couple. I'll use 2 of my 4 pickups on Monday morning at 7 when I'm having my coffee.
Absolutely.
The schedule. So
especially to get you through those the busy days, and then get you through. Yeah, a good start to the week 19 as an example, Monday. It goes because you could lose Monday, and then there's no games on Tuesday, and then there's 12 games on Wednesday, and you're down 9-0. And you're battling Wednesday with the same amount of teams as you. Like Trent destroyed me a few weeks back. He had 8-1 or something ridiculous. I think I won one. But the waiver wire connected is the next one. And look at Utah as an example. And while Trent was going out rating centers from Sacramento, I immediately went to Utah because I knew exactly what they were going to do. Danny Ainge wears it right on his forehead. And it's just draft picks and copying OKC. Copying OKC. He's probably got underwear. Green underwear that says copying OC, get draft picks. And then tank. Who cares if they fine us $3-4 million? And they've only fined him $600,000 so far. Yeah. But the guy I picked up because I like him as a big man. He had a great summer league this year and a great summer league last year. He's a legitimate 7-footer. And Utah stole him with his 16th pick. I can't believe he slided that far. Is Kyle Filipowski, the big 7-footer. No Jaren Jackson Jr. Of course, they forced him to take surgery when he wasn't supposed to have it till the summer. No Walker Kessler. He's been injured all year. He's always injured. It's a shame. And now no Yusuf Nurkic, the Bosnian beast. Apparently they shut him down and they forced him to have no surgery. And Eddie Johnson on the NBA channel was laughing nonstop. He was just, it's a joke. And he goes, the reason why I'm laughing and it sounds like it's fake is because it kind of is. I'm embarrassed for the NBA. I'm embarrassed for these teams. I'm embarrassed for these soft players because Eddie Johnson came from the NBA in the 80s and the 90s, and where he was a power forward coming out of college, and he ended up having to play small forward shooting guard because that was what his strength was. But the teams that drafted him didn't know that. I mean, it just shows you the morons that some of these teams are run. I don't get it. But, and depending on Lauri Markkanen's availability on a nightly basis, let me tell you right now, Lauri Markkanen is finished, and he is the finisher. So he's done. So I picked up Filipowski on 3 or 4 of my 8 teams, and he's first 2 games he's playing really well, and he steals. He had 5 steals his first game starting. And I really like him. And it's not just it's also the workhouse and the minute hogs in the front court for the Jazz with few proven NBA bodies left. Their entire starting lineup is not starting. Yeah. And we have 25 games remaining. I mean, it's just it's a freaking joke. However, there are some really good players. I picked up the starting point guard, and I picked up Filipowski. And I'm going to run with those guys because they're going to get a ton of minutes.
They're going to play 30-plus minutes every game.
Yeah, and they're going to lose every game, and that's what Danny wants. But it's really just kind of a bad joke. And the next guy I'd talk about, I almost picked him up yesterday, but when you looked at the schedule with Curry down, Curry was injured 5-6 days before the All-Star break. He's injured during the All-Star break. He's been injured since the All-Star break's finished. I hope he plays again. I'm sure they will because they're going to be in the run, the run-in tournament.
They're going to play in tournament. Yep.
Yeah, the play-in tournament. And so in the meantime, with him not playing, there's a couple of guys that I will mention. The first one I'm going to mention because I was going to pick him up, but he only had 1 game because they're going to sit him out tonight, and that is DeAnthony Melton. And what does he do? He goes out and gets 28 points, and 6 dimes, 4 steals, a couple of threes. And he's been injured his entire career. So they sit him out. You can't even pick up a player is going to perform because, they're just going to put in some scrub.
Going to play 1 game and then put the next one.
Yeah,
right?
and it just
right there.
It absolutely drives me crazy. So I won't pick him up. If you want to pick him up for week 19, go ahead. Check out the schedule on next Monday or Tuesday's episode, and we'll talk about it. But during the season, with Stephen Curry still injured, currently out, and Jimmy Butler gone for the entire season, Melton has been one of the several role-playing warriors to increase the production, which he does. And he's a defensive specialist. He can shoot the 3, he gets steals, and he can play D. The thing is, he's always injured. So, just keep that in mind. He had 7 assists. He had 4 steals. And Melton's starting. Unfortunately, he's starting, but he's not playing. This is another frustrating aspect of fantasy basketball. Yeah, he's starting, but he's not playing because it's injury management, right? Because he's always injured. So, let me guess. He's out the entire season, and he's finally healthy, and you're afraid of injury management? Let the guy play, man. Let the fans see somebody.
They're not playing for anything, so...
It's just insane. So the next guy I want to talk about, no one talks about. He's readily available, and it's G.G. Jackson. He's a 6'9" beanpole. What's that?
You just dropped them.
Well, I have 8 teams.
Oh, yeah, well, I only care about the 2 that we do. I don't care.
I know, but I mean, I had to take someone off the injury reserve. I had to cut someone, so I had to. When I'm doing schedule, it's also roster management. I'm trying to find a way to maneuver through all these injuries and tanking and ankle turns. I've never seen so. This season is the season of the ankle turn, not the season of the calf contusion. Calf contusion's number 2, by the way, but that was number 1 last year. It's just insane. So G.G. Jackson, they don't have any centers. The only center they have on their roster remaining is Salty Aldama, and for some reason he's been sitting for 12 games. They say it's injury knee management. Like, what was wrong with his knee for the entire season? I don't know what's going on, but G.G. Jackson, the momentum, I picked him up, and he had a monster game the first game. And then he had a pretty good game last night. The momentum is slowly building for Jackson because the coach didn't know him. He was injured last year, and the new coach, the Finnish guy, he was a good coach. G.G. Jackson gives you at 6'9", gives you someone that can at least play long. He's not big. He's maybe 215 pounds. Yeah. And the momentum has been building slowly. His scoring and rebounding numbers have increased by little, and the buildup has been steady. The February jump has been absolutely major, and from February 2 onward, the third-year forward is averaging 16.5 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 55.3% from the field, 47% from the 3, and he shoots good. He's in the 80s as a foul shooter. Scale those numbers down even more, and you'll find that his scoring has jumped to 21.3 points a game over the last 4 appearances, and has made 2.3 threes. And given the fact that the rosters are completely devastated in their standings, they're basically toast. Sean Moran's done. There's absolutely no reason to think that Jackson's role and productivity won't remain. So if he's available and you need a flyer to fill the week, I'd grab him. And he's available. And he's good. I've seen him play. I've watched him play a lot. That's about all on the ones I really want to talk about, because I want to talk about also the stock down. Guys that you might have been relying on, and they got traded to another organization, and the numbers that they were averaging on a terrible organization like Chicago. Nikola Vucevic, that trade to the Boston Celtics was fantastic. Unfortunately, aside from a 19.11 rebound recent outing against his former employer, the Chicago Bulls, Vucevic's time in Boston has been relatively quiet. He settled into the bench role behind Neemias Queta of late, and served as a savvy veteran reserve. Now, I like that. He can still give you 15 and 10. Shoot threes. He doesn't play any D, but he can drop dimes. And the 15th year pro is averaging about 28 to 30 minutes a game. He should be up in the high 30s, in my opinion, as a Celtic. But the coach has done a great job, so I'm not going to argue. The Celtics are playing way above their pay grade. We'll talk about that at the end of the show when Trent goes through the Eastern and Western. But Queta gives you a double-double, great shooting percentages, shoots about 84% from the foul line, gives you almost 2 blocks a game, and he's consistent, and he doesn't get in foul trouble. And he's actually, since he played for Portugal in the World Cup and performed extremely well, Boston went and scooped him, and boy, they got a good one. I love Boston, what they're doing, and I love Neemias Queta, and I picked him up again. I use him to pick him up and drop him, but Boston's got 4 games. So, again, if you got someone on the waiver wire that can contribute and put up the stats, we're in 9 category leagues, I would give him a hard look. It's basically the next guy. I'm really surprised that the people at Yahoo actually said his name. I'll be curious because you're a big fan, and I believe you have him on one of your teams, is De'Aaron Fox. The Spurs are unbelievable this year, and they got a chance to win an NBA championship, in my opinion, and the hottest team in the league at this point with Wemby, who is just a freak of nature. I love him. I can't wait to the game tonight. I'm like so excited. I made popcorn and everything. I'm serious. It's like I'm ready to roll. They've been unbelievably good, and their margin of victory during the winning streak sits at almost 16 points a game. That is phenomenal in the NBA. They are destroying people, and their defense is relentless in their depth. And, of course, Wemby, every time he stands there and he raises his arms, he's 8 feet. He takes up almost less than 2 feet of space from his hands to the rim in the NBA. Think about that. It can deter even the best low-post person from passing it out for an open three. Not because he had 6 blocked shots the other night. And he had 17 points, 21 rebounds, 6 blocked shots, 4 steals, 4 threes, and 5 dimes. I mean, oh my God. Like, that is just insane. But getting back to De'Aaron Fox, he's taken it really well. He's kind of just... Fox has cracked the 30-point mark just 5 out of 9 February games since the All-Star break. And he's basically 14 points a game at 28 minutes a game. That's the lowest in his career, although he's playing on one of the best teams in the NBA. And where he came from Sacktown, one of the worst teams in the NBA. So there is a silver lining at the end of the day if you can see it and not let your ego get involved. I think he's a very capable guard. Problem is San Antonio has no shortage of capable guards. They have one of the deepest teams in the NBA in the backcourt and the wings, as well as they've got 3 7-footers as well. There are nights in which it might not even be required for Fox, and Fox doesn't mind because but his fantasy stock has been trending down recently. And another one that's trending down, and this fellow might be out of the league by the end of this year, because they did an interview with him on Sirius X on the NBA channel 86, and it was the most depressing interview I've ever heard from a guy that just found God and was talking about his ACL. Have you heard it? Have you heard his... I swear to God, he was going to have a jammer at the end of the... He just doesn't have any juice left. He says, I'm not the same player I used to be. I'll never be. I found God. I'm like, oh my God. And Billy Donovan's sitting him because they got 8 guards on their roster for some reason. It's an absolute travesty. But yes, Jaden Ivey is dealing with knee soreness that will reportedly keep him on the sidelines for a bit. And that knee, his attitude might keep him off an NBA roster by the end of this year, if you ask me. Because he's a talented kid. Coming out of college, he was putting nice numbers. In his first 3 seasons with Detroit, he was averaging 16 points a game, 4 assists. He had a turnover problem. Very inconsistent. But they cut him.
His mom's a coach at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Women's team.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that.
Basketball family.
Yeah, no kidding. And he's a great player. I just don't like him. I tried to pick him up in fantasy the last 3 years, and he was just so inconsistent. And of course, before they got Cade Cunningham, they were terrible. And look what Cade's done to Detroit. MVP. Not just Cade.
MVP.
Oh my God. I can't believe I got him on 3 of my teams in the 7th round. Couldn't believe it. First round, but 7th pick. Yeah.
7th pick.
Yeah, couldn't believe it. I was just like, wow. And then one of the struggles that's been his off-court struggles, there's something going on in his brain. I don't think it's anything to do with booze or drugs or anything. I think he's just mentally weak, and his confidence is completely gone. He's been a healthy scratch the last couple of games, and he's averaging 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, which, it's bench in his 4 appearances with the Bulls. And, I just don't see him being with the team. The season has been a tough one for the 4th-year combo guard, and no matter what team he's suited up for, but in the injury, uncertainty makes the rest of the season look very shaky from a standpoint. I wouldn't pick him up. If you gave me a bucket load of money, I wouldn't take him up. Oh, it depends on how much a bucket load of money you're going to give me, but I wouldn't take him.
Fair enough.
Of other guys, I think that you need to note, because of injuries, Stephen Curry, I did not think he'd be out 15, 17 games.
But he'll be back.
I hope so. But in the meantime, Brandon Prodinsky, who I'm not a big fan of, out of Gonzaga has been playing. He's been playing really well. Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, and he's got that red fro and the headband, and I'm not a big fan, but he is getting the minutes. Another guy I picked up on one of my teams today because I needed explosive guard, and I looked at the roster is Scoot Henderson with the Portland.
I almost picked him up the other day.
He's
played pretty well.
Yeah, and well, look at the schedule too. Look at Portland's schedule for the rest of the week. He's been playing really well. He's healthy. He's athletic. And they can play him in the backcourt with Holiday, and he's as big as Holiday. He's 6'5", so I give him a hard look. Cameron Johnson, I love the kid. At almost 6'9", he is soft as butter, and he's so
chances to pick that guy up, and I pass every time.
Dude, I picked him up last time. He played 38 minutes. He's getting the usage. He's getting the minutes, and he had 4 points, 4 rebounds. 1-3, and I was just like, dude, what are you doing for 38 minutes?
Exactly.
Right? When that was before Christian Brown started to get healthy. Now Christian Brown's back to playing his 35 minutes. So if you see Christian Brown on the waiver wire, scoop him. Because when he gets the minutes and he's getting confidence in his ankle, he puts up great numbers, great shooting percentages, and the Joker loves him because he moves so well without the ball. The next guy, Trent and I both picked up, if you could find him, Maxime Renaud, the 7'1" Frenchman that plays on the worst team in the NBA right now, Sacramento. What a great kid. He's been putting up good numbers. Trent picked him up and he immediately boasts the next day with 14 points, 17 rebounds, and a 3 and a block, I think. And I like him. He's a good kid. He's athletic. And, and I picked him up, and because if you look at the center position in fantasy basketball, it's an absolute gong show. There is nobody out there. You're having to flirt with picking up Huff from Indiana just because he averages 2 blocks a game. I mean, it's really thin out there. Or the center for Orlando, who is a black hole. He is a guy that can maybe give you 7-8 rebounds. He's at least not injured. He played unbelievable last night.
He had a good game against the Lakers last night.
I know. That's what I mean.
Awesome.
Another big guy with the Chicago is another guy that's always injured, and it's always the same frame as Jalen Smith, the 7-footer. He's actually 6'11", and I like him. The problem is, if you look at his body, he's one of these kids that doesn't have any core. He doesn't have an ass. He doesn't have thighs. He doesn't have hamstrings. He doesn't have calves. He just has size 22 feet and the thinnest legs in the NBA, and he is a walking calf contusion waiting to happen. Kind of like PJ Washington and the other center on the Dallas Mavericks, who collectively have had 15 ankle turns. Collectively.
Marvin Bagley's a sweet pickup right now.
Oh, I picked Marvin up on 2 of my teams yesterday because I knew with all of their injuries at center, Bagley is hungry. And he's playing pretty well.
He scored 22 last night.
Yeah, and 11.
Yeah.
No, it was 22 and he had about 6 rebounds, but whatever. He had a couple of blocks, steals. And he's playing with some energy. Right? The way he's moving, Trent, I mean, it's encouraging. And then the other guy who has his moments on Sacramento is Precious Achiuwa. He's undersized for a center at 6'9", but he's had some really explosive games, and knowing that he's got the minutes and he's going to get the usage because they're terrible, he's been putting up some nice numbers. So if you're desperate, he is a center, even though he plays power forward and small forward. He is worth a pickup if you need a flyer for 2-3 games on a weekend and you have a center position open, or you've got a center that just got injured. That is Waiver Wire Connected.
I would just add 2 things.
Please.
Marvin Bagley, if you want to talk about how bad Sacramento is, well, Marvin Bagley was picked 2nd overall.
Yeah.
For the Kings, ahead of Luka Doncic.
Yeah. Oh, if you look at the, oh my God, it's.
We just went from somebody. I saw some post somewhere today where the guy said we should be making a 30 for 30 about the Sacramento Kings because 2 years ago, It was light the beam. They were third seed in the West. They gave the Warriors like all they could handle in the playoffs, and now they're this in 2 years.
And then they trade away all of their main players, and except for Sabonis, because that's who they traded away Fox to get and first round picks and so on. And now Sabonis is injured. Sabonis is usually not injured. However, Sabonis, I'm pretty sure Sabonis wants to get the hell out of there.
Yeah. And then the other one would be Zubac going to the Pacers. I would tell anybody and everybody who listens to our show, I would bet a small amount of money that he doesn't play another game this year.
Hey, did you try to trade him yet?
I'm about to, actually. I'm trying to do it in our...
The trade is March 5th, just so you know.
I know. Oh, no.
Deadline.
I looked at it today trying to...
Just pick up one of the teams that are really struggling, and they have no centers.
I looked at like the one team that's like in 7th, and he still has a chance of maybe trying to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to give a decent player away, but I can get rid of Zubac, a decent player, and then a role player, and get 2 good players is what I'm trying to do. So we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But
well, good luck with that. Because he's had a great season. The last couple of years have been unbelievable. And what's going on with that? And then the Brow and Ice Cube over in Washington. It's just a super frustrating year this year. It's diabolical. It's freestyle time, Trent. What would you like to talk about? You want to go straight into the Eastern and West, or we've been watching a ton of games.
Tonight we get the East and West leaders tonight playing.
Yeah.
And of course, because they played last night, and God forbid you play back-to-back, OKC, Hartenstein, and Chet Holmgren are playing because they played in Toronto last night.
Well, Chet's apparently got his back is bothering him again.
Give me a break.
Dude, he needs to get on a weight program. Look at him. He's a $185 wet, man.
It's not about that. It's about what we've talked about. These guys, they don't want to play. They want to play as least amount of games as possible.
Yeah.
That's it. You look at the MVP and look at the awards right now. MVP race, with all the top players that you would look at, the top 5 guys that are probably in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
Most of them, outside of Cade Cunningham, every one of them are in single digits of how many games they could miss and not be eligible.
Yeah.
With the 65-game rule. These dudes, now, this year, those guys that were in that list, like Jokic and Shea, I think were legitimately hurt. But these guys don't want to play. They don't want to play back-to-back.
So PJ Washington is a guy that...
walked from Toronto yesterday and went to Detroit. It's that close. Yeah. And it's not because you had to fly across the country or anything like that. It's because you're soft. This generation, when it comes to these athletes, especially in this sport, they're soft. And they get paid way too much, and they don't want to play. It's a joke.
PJ Washington is another frustrating guy. So he just signed a $150 million contract. And as soon as he signed it, he's turned his ankle 9 times. Gafford has turned his ankle 11 times. He was playing pretty good, and I always like to give him a go because he's power forward, center, and they don't have any help. And he put up average numbers last night. In the last minute of the game, he rolls his ankle. And I guarantee you he did that intentionally because he doesn't want to play. If you look at...
Had a career year last year.
Yeah.
He gets a 3-year deal, a nice big deal. And what's happened? He missed half the season this year. And it may be legitimate. I'm not trying to...
No, he's always had back problems. That is true.
These guys don't want to push. Like when dudes that we were watching in the 80s and 90s, if they rolled their ankle, they're trying to figure out a way, okay, how do I play? How do I play tomorrow? I'm not just saying, I can sit out a couple games. No big deal. Like, that's what these guys are now because they get paid too much. It's generational wealth what these guys make.
Yeah.
If you get paid $40 million one season, you could retire. If you can't live off the rest of your life off of $40 million and even pass it down to your kids and stuff,
you're a moron.
What are we doing, right? It's a joke, man. The fact that him and Hartenstein are sitting out tonight and they're playing the other best.
Oh, I thought Hartenstein was playing tonight.
No, I saw both they were both sitting.
Well, then they're going to put in the Polynesian brother.
Taylor Williams will play. Taylor Williams will play.
Yeah.
But it's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, it's really honestly, I think fans are really getting upset with it. There's the hardcore people like us. Even we get a little bit upset, but because we're hoop junkies and we love sports and we love the action and we're in deep into this. It's kind of like, man, is this season going to be a little bit easier than last season, or is it going to be more difficult? I tell you what, every season in the last 4 or 5 years for me, because I have 8 teams instead of 1 or 2, is the hardest it's ever been to maintain and sustain. And by the way, how it works in Yahoo is Trent evolved from bronze to silver to gold to platinum, and he's just under diamond, which is the sort of the top 10% in the entire world of fantasy basketball, certainly in 9 category leagues in Yahoo. There are other fantasy leagues. So you can ascend if you draft well and you're really lucky with your injuries. And Trent has been, he drafted well, and he's been very fortunate with injuries for the most part. So you got to take the best with what you can deal with. Otherwise, you just go crazy. It's insane.
We got those 2 teams playing tonight. So you got first against first. You don't have Shea, you don't have Chet, you don't have Isaiah Hartstein, you don't have Bale. There's another guy who just seems to be sitting out to sit out. So
yeah.
I actually, when it comes to the East, I would tell you right now, I have a sneaky suspicion that getting James Harden for the Cavs, they're going to get that second seed. They're going to overtake New York.
Okay, do you want to hear something really sad?
Because Jared Allen,
he's fractured. The beard fractured his finger last night.
I know, his thumb or something. I heard, yeah. So,
but again, he might be able to play with it if it's his offhand. He might be able.
That has rejuvenated that team overall.
I agree.
Games, but the Fro, Jared Allen, putting up numbers because any big man that's ever played with James Harden is a double machine, because they're going to get 3-4 lobs, easy baskets a game, where they're going to have fouls, and they're going to be able to rebound. So
absolutely, and nobody was giving the Fro the ball.
And I don't think, and the reason I say this about Cleveland, I know they'll probably choke on it anyways, but New York doesn't look great right now. They look a little bit discombobulated right now. Boston's just playing defense, and Jaylen Brown's just carrying those guys. Pritchard shows up one night. Merrill hit shots the next night. White is just a wonderful, consistent player. What you're going to get from him every night. He has great games, never seems to have real bad games. He might have an average game, but never seems to have a real bad game.
That's true.
So that top of that, and then again, the Raptors, it's 50-50. Them and the Sixers are 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
I don't think they might change positions there. I would think that they'll probably stay in those 6 spots, even though, Orlando seems to be playing a little bit better here the last week.
Well, Bane apparently is woken.
Well, yeah. So the top 6 in the East is still very unpredictable.
It's true. Very true. And we have a lot of games. We have a lot of hoops left too, right? So
Miami and Orlando can still sneak in into that 6th spot outside of the play-in games. So
if they can get Hero right now, he's playing 20 minutes a game and he's coming off the bench.
He's got to manage his injury, Paul.
Well, fuck, dude, he's healthy. He's 27 years old.
I love it.
He's in the greatest shape of his life.
That's ridiculous, dude.
I used to play 150 to 200 games a year.
Oh, frick, man. It's
and where was injury management? No, because I was hardly ever injured. We all get injured, but I just not like what's going on in the NBA. It's just these guys are so soft, man. And the NBA is going to have to implement rules for this tanking. They got to do something. It's out of control.
They're supposedly going to do it next year, so we're not even going to talk about the last teams in the East.
They should have done it 8 years ago, Trent. It's been going on for 8 years.
What we talked about last week, good on them, but San Antonio went into Detroit and punched them in the mouth. That was awesome, that game. That was such a really good game.
Durant was out, but
there's only so many. No, Jalen Durant played. He had a couple posters on.
Oh, actually, Durant had a great game. He was the only one that really played well. Cade couldn't hit the broadside of a bar, and he was 5 for 27.
Well, he had foul problems too. He had 4 fouls.
and he had 6 turnovers.
Yeah, but San Antonio is.
They're real. They're the real deal.
They're going to be a tough out. Wemby, when he's playing his minutes, dude, there were shots that if he doesn't block it, he makes a guy adjust his shot, and if not, he had a minute span where he had 4 blocks. It was bang, 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 and then Durant had a dunk in his face finally, but and then Vassell, I almost picked up Vassell. Vassell shows up that game and hits 7 threes.
Yeah, right? That was nice.
And you got Champagny, and then you've got
also shooting well,
Harper Jr. coming off the bench, and Kelton Johnson coming off the bench, and they have a really good team. They really do. Really well together. They're well coached. That guy's a great Popovich disciple.
Yeah.
They're not going to change a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, watch out for them, man. They are just what they did to Detroit the other night. I mean, Detroit made it a game for a bit, and then all of a sudden, they just kind of took it over again. They're a bit of a juggernaut right now for sure. They're playing. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Like they're playing great basketball. Right? Like
I'm looking forward to the game tonight.
And then Houston, Denver. Again, I talked about my dark horse was Minnesota. Well, they've jumped a spot. They're in 5th now. They came all the way out.
They're not a dark horse anymore. They're for real.
They're a good team. They just play that way.
Yeah.
The Orlando Laker game last night was a really good game. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure why Doncic just didn't pull that at the end.
He hesitated. For some reason, he not only hesitated once, he hesitated twice. Yeah. He could have pulled the first.
Yeah. I thought
but then he thought he would pump fake it or shot fake it. And then by that time, the secondary help him.
Yeah.
He should have taken that first shot.
Yeah, because it was there. He took that one dribble.
Yeah.
And it was a wide open shot for him.
Well, it's a shot that he takes all game long.
Instead, he tried to do the pump fake and see if he can draw some shit foul. So
exactly, and get and 4-point play. Yeah.
So, but great game. I mean, good effort by Banchero's playing better for Orlando right now. The problem for Orlando is what we talked about other teams, like Houston. Orlando doesn't have a point guard. Banchero's bringing the ball up. You're putting way too much on him. He actually has had a worse year this year, statistically, because of that reason. He's not just being able to go down and be himself. He's got this idea that he's got to, share the ball and be the point guard. And I mean, it's not a good situation for them.
No, I mean, they do have a point guard, and he's finally awoke, and that's Black, but it's only his 3rd season, and he's
not a point guard. He's a shooting guard.
No, he is a shooting guard, but he has to be the point guard because Suggs is not a point guard. Yeah. He's never been a point guard, and he's always injured. I would trade his ass and get a first rounder and a decent guard, and let Black develop at the 2 guard because he's having a career year. He's been really struggling. Black's been struggling the last 4 games, and I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully he wakes up. But what about the West? What's going on?
Well, that's what we're talking about, right? And then I mean, Phoenix is only a game behind the Lakers, but I have a feeling they'll probably fall off with some of the injuries they've had.
Yeah.
Like you said, Golden State. I mean, I'm pretty positive now that the play-in game, I mean, the 5 teams, Memphis, Dallas, Utah, New Orleans, and Sacramento are not getting into the playoff game. They're 6 games. The Memphis is 6 games behind the Clippers at 10 spots. So, I mean, but that's what I got. I mean, the East is more of a crapshoot than the West, I think. But, I mean, hey, man, playoffs are going to be these next 20 games. It's going to be interesting to see who plays and who doesn't, and all that kind of stuff. So that's all I got.
All right, well, excellent. That's great. We're going to wrap it up for this week. Thank you all for joining us. This episode's going to be on in the next less than an hour. And in the meantime, if you enjoy the Canadian Bro Show, it's your first time watching, about 88% of the people that watch this show have not subscribed. So please help us out by subscribing. It really helps the algorithm. We do have now 130 subscriptions, so baby steps. Our goal is 500. And I would think that the subscribers should be significantly more. I've got 125 videos and 130 subscriptions. So it seems like every video I put out, it's 1 subscription. It's better than nothing. I'm not complaining at all, but please help us out. Like, and please leave a comment. If you're a basketball fan and you would like Trent and I to talk about something that is basketball related, female, kids, FIBA, NCAA Division I, Canadian basketball, just give us a comment. We're going to answer every single comment, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. And Trent, once again, thank you for joining me. Trent's in St. Paul, Alberta. I'm in Kelowna. My name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show, and the handsome, charismatic, and what a radio voice, is none other to my left than Trent Rowley, the co-host of The Most. And in the meantime, everybody, we're going to close this down. And thank you very much for joining us, Trent. I'm going to send us both out. And yeah, no doubt. And we shall see you, everybody, next week. We usually film on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on the schedule, depending on Trent's schedule with work. And thank you very much for joining us. Trent, thanks kindly. I'm going to remove you from the scene. And we'll talk to you later, bro.
Later. Thanks,
Take
everybody.
care. Thanks. and myself, just to close out. If you're just curious what the backdrop is, this is my very last team that I played with in the British Basketball League, which is now called the Super League. And back in 1999, I was with the London Towers. They were the best team in the league at that time, and we won everything in our last season. And this is our photo. I'm number 5, by the way, if you haven't noticed. I do admit that this is almost 27 years ago, this photo. But, life goes on. And you can see the subscribe button. And thanks very much for joining us. I'll give you a little bit of view of the team, and we'll hopefully see you next week. Take care, everybody, and thanks for joining us.